People of YouTube, I asked, if you're looking to make the most money, keyword here is most money, as a 3D artist, which of these industries should you be in? So the options were video games, animated or live action movies, medical, or the industrial industry. And the highest rated one was video games, followed by the animated and live action movies. These are pretty interesting results. We got a total of 2,300 votes, so let's go ahead and check out what people have to say about this. Let's see, an answer here is games and animated live action movies are, I think, where you make the most money, but it's also the hardest one to get into. And someone here replies, what game company are you working for? Them to pay good money, and are they hiring? Someone else says, nope, these are the lines where you work a lot of overtime for significantly less salary. Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree with this one. I don't think games and animated live action movies is the place. If you're looking for the most money, I think people went with the video games and live action because that's what they want to do, or that's what sounds cool. But when it comes to making the most money, I don't particularly think these are the industries where you want to be in, especially because, you know, they're so popular, like everyone wants to work in video games and movies. So there's a lot of competition. There are more people applying for these jobs, and as a company you can probably get away with paying less than if there was less competition. The film industry. If you get into high-profile studios like WB, Sony, Pixar, etc., you will be paid handsomely, but at the same time need very high skills as well. Then someone replies here, even if you work at well-known studios, doesn't mean you will get a permanent job, just temporary, and time will go too fast. That is the downside of this job. So I think I agree with Luis here. From what I heard, personally I haven't worked in film, but what I have seen and what I've heard is that most jobs as a, like as a VFX person, someone who does 3D for movies, most of those jobs are temporary, like they're mostly contract. So after you're done with the movie, there's like a time where, there's nothing going on, so they're just gonna let you go. Now obviously it's probably different depending on the studio, but most jobs in film I think are based on the project itself. So once the movie is done, once the studio is done making the movie, they're more than likely gonna let you go, and then you're gonna have to go somewhere else to find a job. I don't think you're necessarily going to be making the most money either. Let's see, someone here says games is the biggest media-based industry, and then someone says doesn't make it the best paying. In fact, it isn't. More opportunities though. Not even sure I'd say that, considering how impacted the industry is. Very oversaturated, and the work is easier, more competitive for less pay. Also one of the toughest to get into, job postings for so-called entry positions that require 3+ years of experience and at least one shipped AAA game. Hey, there's plenty of positions to work for free though. Once again, I'm going to disagree saying that games it's a large industry, but it doesn't mean that it pays the most. I think in fact, out of the list here, I think games is probably the least paying. For the most paying one, if you're looking to make the most money, I would go probably with the medical one, or perhaps industrial as well. I think those two are probably the highest paying places if you want to be a 3D artist. In the medical industry, there are jobs that you can do where a few years ago when I was looking for jobs, I found one that was in the medical industry, and it was pretty high. There was a high compensation for it. I just didn't go for it because I'm just not that interested in it. And I think that's probably why people here voted mostly video games and movies, because they don't see the other ones as being interesting. But if you're looking for the most money, I would go with industrial and medical. And I'm pretty sure there's also a lot less competition in those industries as well. Let's see, someone says, I'm guessing medical. It's a big industry, way bigger than games. I'm not sure if it's way bigger for 3D artists in particular. I think in that case it would probably be smaller, but there's definitely less competition, I think. So it would be best, if you're looking to make the most money, I think it would be best to go with medical. I think the games industry is still larger as far as jobs for 3D artists in particular. Video games are lowest paying option on this list, for those who don't know. Not sure what it pays, but medical data viz can be interesting. That's if it's often body stuff, so things like blood flow or body scans. Maybe it's not, maybe it's mostly ledgers and I don't know. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that stuff, like making body parts, like that you can 3D print, stuff like that, or to aid in the 3D printing of things. Like in the dental industry, at least, there's the, you know, when someone gets a scan of their mouth, for example, you know, you get a scan of it, but it's not completely clean. You would need someone like a 3D artist to go in there and kind of clean up the mesh, essentially, so that it can actually be used to create something like kind of like a de-Invisalign trace that you get nowadays. So that's one of the types of jobs that you can get in the medical industry. Games pay significantly less than all these other industries. I don't understand why it got voted first. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I think people just went with the one that sounds the most popular, not necessarily the one with the most money. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. Just getting some people's opinions, giving my own opinion. Obviously, it's just my opinion, and doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. And if you want to participate in this, in these questionnaires, I guess, you can just check out the community section of this channel. I post new questions every week. Alrighty everyone, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Would you like to learn 3D modeling? Do you ever wonder how 3D models are made? Well, you see, making 3D models is actually not as complicated as it looks. Typically, models are made from simple geometric shapes, like a cube, and slowly transformed to create cooler looking shapes. For example, like this character. Hey, this is only a 45-second ad, so there's not enough time to cover everything. Click on the link below now to get started. When you click the link, it will show you exactly the steps to making 3D models from scratch. You'll see everything you need to know to get started, and by the end of the course, you will have made some really cool 3D models, like this room. Like I said, this is a short video, so I don't have enough time to explain everything. Click the link below now to see exactly how this is done.